Hello and welcome back to Tammy's Antique Vintage Dolls and More. And today I have a question that I'm going to be answering for a lady named Dee Gee. She asked, cannot find a video about putting a head back together. And you're correct, Dee Gee. I do not have one. Usually I show the before doll in its awful state, and then I show the doll after I restored it. But now I'm doing a step-by-step, and you'll see this as I approach closer to the head with what I do. Now, if you're going to put your doll's head back together again, you've done the damaged areas, you have to take your doll's head and bring it back together again. And that's just how you have to, with mine, I can line it up with this hole here, because of course it has to come through. So I'm going to put it up close to me here. Now, one side of this doll's head lines up very nicely. The other side, not so good. So what would I do? Now, it needs to be cleaned up all along the edges here. Just some of this old glue needs to come off, and just so I can get it back together and flush together here. But one side wants to come together really nice. If I can get it together here. Okay, it wants to come together a little bit better, so you could glue that. I'm not satisfied with just gluing this because there's so many gaps and holes and whatnot going on. Let me flip it around the other way now. Now you're going to see I have some more problems going on with this doll, and there's a lot of gaps in this doll's composition here, and when it was being put together again, my goodness, I'm having a hard time getting this back together. What is going on here? Okay, this is my second time filming this, but anyways, but you can see there are problems in the composition itself, from the shoulder all the way up. There's just problems all the way through. So I myself, in places where it can be flushed together, it comes right tight together, I'm going to glue. Now, and then the rest will be milliputted. Just so that I have it. Why would I glue it? So there's a hold on it there, so that I can sit it down in this state like this, where the glue does meet, and then like where the head meets together, and I have glued it. Okay, you see where I can glue up in here. That way I can set the head down and just use my milliput and not have to keep one hand like this while I'm trying to milliput. It's hard. So you want to use some glue, of course, and just to get it together. And then you're going to have to fix up areas such as this here and whatnot all the way around the whole head. This does go together a little bit better. I just haven't got it quite where it should be, but I'm going to try something. Oh my word. See, it needs to be worked on here. I haven't worked on this head. But anyhow, as that may be. Let me see. I've got another head in there. I'm going to bring it out. Just 1 minute, John. John, sing.
Sing? Sing? Do I have any requests out there?
Okay, I'm back now. Didn't happen. So I saved your ears. All right. So here's another head, another baby here. And of course, the heads are always the back and the front. So you want to put this doll head, oh, this is a better example right now. See how nice and flush that comes together again? You can glue this head all the way around, okay? And a small seam, what they would use is plaster, and plaster all the way around that, all the way around the seam, around the ears, all the way down. Now, you can use plaster, and I've got plaster here I can mix it up and just do that with, but I'm a milliput woman, so I'm going to milliput all the way around. What the plaster would do, that's what I'm going to do with my milliput. You can use plaster Paris. Mix up some and plaster it all the way around, and you can do that just as well. Okay, so there's a thought there in itself that, you know, you don't have to use milliput, but I'm going to be using milliput even on this doll here. The reason why is, even though I've glued this seam together, when you paint, it's going to pick up that line, and you got to cover that line up. So remember, paint goes right into those little areas that you don't want it to show, and it's going to show. So that's why they plastered around like that, and then they sanded it, and then it was nice and smooth, and it just the paint just melted in with the whole head effect. But myself, I'm going to milliput, sand it as well, and then I'll paint over that, and it works just as well. That's what I'm going to be doing with both these heads, actually. But this is a prime example of this. This head here needs to be still cleaned up. I got a lot of problems around the seam of this head going around. So there's cleaning up that needs to be done. I've already cleaned up some of this doll's head here. And it doesn't have the problem like this one does. Every doll will have its own problems and will speak to you in a different way. This one went together just like a puzzle. And you can see how nice it went together. And yet, you know, the other one I'm struggling to get it together because there's just so much glue along this edge here and along this edge here that they're just not meeting in the proper way. Look at this, needs to come off. You know, you get a knife and or use your Dremel tool and you can get that off. That's just paint, like old glue on there, and that just needs to come off. You just need to get this a little, your edge just a little smooth, going across and just making that smooth. The same here, and then watch what will happen when you put the two pieces together. It won't be perfect, but it will go together a little bit better. Maybe as smooth as what this one does. You know what I'm saying? So that's what you want. And then what I would do is glue this. Then I can set the head down, and then I can milliput free-handedly. And that's what you want. So that's how I would put the head together. If you can get it together like this, glue and then seam it with your milliput or plaster. That's up to you. Now, we're going to move on to the next one. Suzanne McInnes. she's from Australia. Hello to Australia. Suzanne McInnes.
Good day, mate.
There's John's Australian accent. Anyways, she said she found a very neglected doll. And I think you said it has paint missing, peeling, a foot missing. Way to go, girl. You can do it. And you can restore that doll. I have a doll with a foot missing too, and she's a compo doll as well. And I'm excited when I get to her because I've never had to put a foot on a doll. And I am excited about doing this doll here coming up and making a foot for this doll. She's not going to be a doll tomorrow, of course. I have another one that I promised, and then I really want to do it too, from another lady that I promised. It was her grandmother's doll, and I want to get going with her as well. But as I say that, the next one I'm hoping will be this other one with the missing foot, because I want to make a foot, and I think that would be exciting to make. But how would you make your foot? And that's another thing. You didn't ask that question, but I'm just going to kind of improvise a little bit, like I tell you what I might do. Let's put it that way. I would look for another, if both, I don't know if you said if both the feet are broken off, missing both. I'm not sure. I think that's what I heard, I read on there. But if you have the other one is still on there, then you can model off of it. If not, if both are missing, you can buy a vinyl doll, maybe of that same leg length or size. And I would just take the leg off and go around with the leg in a purse or in your pocket or whatever. I've done that. And match up leg length or foot size that you think the foot would be. And you can model off that vinyl foot or something. You know, there's little tricks you can do. But way to go, Suzanne. Another question was asked, where to buy a Bye Bye Baby. My Bye Bye Baby came from off of eBay. I got it in a very, like, Bye Bye Baby is from the Patty Play Pal line. So when you start going into the Patty Play Pal line, those dolls are expensive. I've looked at many of that I would love to own, and I'm telling you a lot of them are up about $200-300, and that's something I will gravitate later to. Right now, not today. Who knows what comes along in your life and falls on your lap. That's how things happen in life. But right now, I'm happy with my Bye Bye Baby and the Patty Play Pal that I do have, and her friends. I'm very grateful for them. But if I want to ever add from the Patty Play Pal family, I might just do that. But again, they're pricey, those dolls. And on eBay, they go for a good clip. My thing would be is that I just keep your eyes peeled in your local area. Try your thrift stores. Try your garage sales, yard sales. Those things you wouldn't believe have manifested some wonderful dolls. And so if you can get to some of those, they might be hiding in a garage or laying on a blanket in a yard sale or in a box. You know, things like that have happened. And people have pulled out some most wonderful dolls. Like I told you, that aches my heart to this very day. A lady took a picture of a doll sticking out of a garbage can. It looked like to me like a horseman. And it bothers me to this very day. She had a low price on it that I just didn't say, I'll buy it. Otherwise, it went into the garbage, into the dump. And to this very day, I remember seeing that doll going, I would love to own her. Because she was a beautiful doll. In a wreck, of course. You know, but so fixable. And I will remember that forever. Not trying to, you know, I don't know if she only went with $10 or whatever. But, you know, those dolls are out there. And cheap. You know, so I say to everybody out there, you can't afford them. There's other ways of going around. My Bye Bye Baby, like I'm going to tell you right now, Bye Bye Baby, I have seen it as low as $130, $140. The odd time I've seen them start at bids on eBay at $100. Mine was below 100. I'm not into telling the prices of my dolls. I'm not. But because this question was brought up, I'm not going to reveal the price of what I paid for it. But I will say this. Mine was under $100. But it had black mold in it. It wasn't strung together. We had to string the doll together itself. I had to work on that doll up in its head, cleaning it all out and everything. So there are things that you got to do sometimes to these dolls. And he looks great today. Now, he has some staining on his arms and everything. He does. And I want to try that pimple cream on it and put some heat on it and see if we can get that to lighten up a bit. But other than that, he's a beautiful doll still. He has a lot of character still about him. But again, I'm just going to say to you again, you got to look for when you get dolls that low in price, remember you're going to have problems with them. But they're fixable problems. Most of them are. Most of them you can do things with them. So I leave it at that with you there. Remember, Bye Bye Baby can go, I've seen him as high as $300, $350. And, you know, that's a lot of money on a doll. But if it's worth it to you, any price is worth it to you. You'll want it, you'll get it, you'll buy it. And I've been like that myself. My doll collection is full of dolls that I fixed up and dolls that I didn't have to. So, again, I just say to everybody, you call the price. If the doll's worth it to you, you'll pay it. And if you want to go cheap, there's nothing wrong with it. I have done the same thing like many people out there have, and they've rescued many dolls very cheap. You know, so there's some, you can try Etsy. The Goodwill online. Sometimes they have Goodwill auctions will have something. Might have it, I'm not sure, but there's just ways that you can try. You know, like I say, I hit more the local area. Like I say, you might find something like that. But again, be ready with your pocketbook. You are going to pay for a Bye Bye Baby. They're not cheap. And somebody out there might just undercut me and say, well, I got mine for $75. Those are rare. They're out there, yes, that does exist because the person doesn't know what they have, and it might have been a buy it now or nobody else bid, which I can't believe because most people are glued onto those types of dolls. They are looking for them. They're very highly sought for. So, anyways, I leave you at that. I know they did a reproduction of Bye Bye Baby too in porcelain, which I don't care for. I don't care for the reproductions of our old dolls. I wish they would not do that. Leave them as they are, you know, but they've done that. They did it to the Patsy doll, made plastic ones up of her. I don't like them. Leave them in the composition. That was their day, their glory. And I want them to have that 1930 look. Don't up them in plastic, you know, but I know they did it. And some people like them. Maybe that makes it affordable for others that can't afford the older ones and fix up older ones. I get it on that side of it. But in my world and how I am, I wish they wouldn't do things like that. Just leave the dolls as they are. But that's my opinion, and we know about opinions, you know, so, but anyhow, I hope that helped you out, Dee Gee, with the head there. It gave you some insight of what to do. Glue, and then milliput, or plaster. Okay, thanks again, and I'm going in to make potato salad.
And maybe when we make the potato salad, we can throw a shrimp on the Barbie.
Okay. We don't even have shrimp in the house.
Oh.
So we might have to throw, what? A chicken.
Throw a chicken on the Barbie.
There we go. All right.
Thank you for joining us.
Bye-bye.